Welcome to the Health and Happiness Show. As many of you know, I, Janet Hawkins, will be your host today. So, just as a reminder, hopefully everyone is enjoying this nice weather. It's from rain to sunshine. Everything is blooming. As you can see, the daffodils, I just picked those this morning. And it's new beginnings, it's springtime, and we're here to enjoy this beautiful, beautiful weather. And as you can see, we have our lettuce right out here in front. And I had gotten that at Petiti's, which I had gotten it last year as well. And the price didn't go up, which is great. So this is like fresh lettuce that you can go pick. And it lasts approximately, I would say 2 months, till probably the 1st of June. And no, I do not keep it inside. I take it outside on the deck. And of course, I watch the weather because I'm doing the recording now, first part of April. And we just never know when it can get down to freezing. So I always keep an eye on that and bring it in the evening. And if it's going to be windy, of course, I bring it in as well. So what I had done, I know maybe you can even consider this for like Mother's Day or whatever, is I bought each of the children one for an Easter gift. And I thought this would be nice. It's something that they can use. And especially with the price of everything today, I thought this would be very practical. And greens are so good for us. They add fiber, the vitamins are unbelievable, and it's fresh. And you know where it's coming from. It's not been, it's not been having a lot of chemicals on it and fertilizers and things of that sort. So I'm just giving you some ideas for that as well. And don't forget too, we also do gift certificates if you would like to do that for maybe your mother or a friend or sister, some relative, for a Mother's Day gift as well. So, let's just go in, and I have a little brochure here that is about myself as well. And as many of you know, I am a certified board naturopath by the American Naturopath Medical Board. So I'm an ND now, which I completed my exam last year. And so basically what I do as a naturopath is I try to get to the root cause, or we try to go in and see maybe if you're having some, like I have a client coming this afternoon, she's having some gastrointestinal issues. So we will go in and muscle test her. Muscle test is going to go in and I pick up the energy, and everything has energy, so it's going to tell me if she needs this, rather than saying, oh, you need slippery elm, oh, you need burdock, you need this or you need that. So before I came today to do the recording, of course I had set everything out to have it together for her. And of course we have some food enzymes, and we also have some slippery elm, and which can help with internal inflammation as far as constipation or diarrhea. And then also we will check her on like the food enzymes, because I've told you before, after the age of 30, every 10 years we lose 10 to 15% of our enzyme production. So what does that mean? By the time we're 50, or people come in and they're on an acid inhibitor like Nexium and things of that sort, they are lacking enzymes. And I know many times people have been very successful with adding the enzymes to their food, because when you cook your food over 118 degrees, you kill the enzyme as well. And so, enzymes are really critical after the age of 50, in my opinion. 50s, 60s, 70s, any of that, 80s, whatever. We need that, and especially if you're eating out, you don't know what you're eating, and good luck is all I can say. So, as you know, I'm very particular if I do eat out and what I do eat. But we're going to talk about that later. So what I do offer is I do the saliva and urine testing, which you've heard me talk about that before, and that's 2 hours I set aside to spend time with you. And we go in, and it's called a biological terrain assessment. That's where we do the urine and the saliva, and that gives us a good printout on what your body is doing and where it is at this time. And it'll go in and tell us if we have a bacteria, if we have a virus, if we have heavy metals, how our mineral intake are. We're lacking a lot of minerals in our soil today. And also it'll go in and tell us if we have a virus, seeing a lot of people with a virus today. And actually, when I came back from Central America, in February, I had a virus as well. And it took me some time to get over that as well. So I had to use different combinations. And again, I was muscle tested with olive leaf and different other supplements which work on a virus. And so you have to figure out, put the puzzle together and see what works for you. And also it'll go in and tell us how the thyroid is functioning, how the mitochondria is the powerhouse of your cell. I know when I was taking my exam last August, we had to do a diagram of the cell from the mitochondria all the way around and to understand how it works. But the mitochondria is so important for our energy. And I like to use CoQ10, and especially remember this if you're taking notes. If you are on a statin drug, it's very, very important to take CoQ10, because being on a statin drug is going to reduce the CoQ10 in your body. So, but you do not take your supplements with your medication always an hour apart. So it's very important to remember that as well. So so we do the saliva and urine testing as well, and of course it's by appointment always, and that's the 2 hours I set aside for you. And then we try to get your body back into balance body-wise. You know, it takes many different things to keep our body in balance, and of course we'll be discussing that when we do your program, and that includes diet, exercise. We have to move or we lose. Remember, you hear me say this all the time, the lymphatic does not have a pump like your heart does. So you have to move and move and move it. And I don't care how old you are, if you're maybe 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, you've got to move, move, move. May it be walking. May it be doing a rebounder. You know, maybe some yoga, but you still have to move to get that lymph system moving. The lymph system is your garbage disposal of your body. So we talk about, you know, how their activities are as far as exercise, and we discuss your diet. If you know your blood type, we also give you a printout on what foods are beneficial, what you need to avoid, and what is neutral. It's not in stone. You can still go off of it a little bit, but I know for me, being type A blood, it works for me well. I do very well with chicken. My husband is type O. He likes the red meat. I don't do well with red meat. So we kind of go back and forth. And, you know, but I personally don't like to see people eat meat more than 2 days a week. That's just my personal opinion. And the chicken is good, and I did well with salmon, things of that sort. So anyway, and then also I offer a mini consultation where I go in and do the iridology. And of course, whenever I do the saliva and urine testing, I always do the iridology as well. And as you know, that's where I go in, I look at your irises, and that relates to your body. I usually try to keep it rather general, you know, but I always go in and look at the left eye first, and we look at 3 o'clock. That is where your heart is located in the chart, and make sure everything is looking good there as well. And then, you know, I try to keep it simple because many times you are a newbie coming in. This is all new to you, and you're getting very frustrated with the medical. Don't get me wrong, we all need our doctors. But you know, many times they are giving you a prescription rather than getting to the root cause to cover up the symptoms. So we try to supplement your weak areas with a supplement like maybe, we're going to be talking about that to help your liver. Maybe you want to do a liver cleanse, things of that sort. We have to keep our body cleaned up internally. That's a whole new subject, and we're going to be talking about that later on. So anyway, I do the iridology, and I spend approximately 30 minutes to 45 minutes with you and deciding upon that what avenue we go and what supplements you're taking at that time. And of course, at this time, I don't care what time of year it is, we all need to take our vitamin D3. We get it from the sun, and yes, the sun has been out a couple days, and then it rains and there's windy a couple days. So we still need to do that, especially they're finding, and people with their aging, it tends to help with longevity as well. It helps the immune system, keeps you stronger, and it helps with bones as well. So, always take your D3. I personally take 5,000 to 6,000 units a day. I feel as though at least 4,000 we should be taking. Now, if you're outside a lot in the summertime, maybe you want to back off to 2, depending upon what your job is. If you're indoors in front of the computer, indoors all the time as a teacher, whatever, then, I would suggest maybe you do like 4 to 6. That's something we discuss as well. And then, so what we do is we muscle test you and put you on a simple program, because what I am seeing when I see clients today, there are 3 things. And the number 1 is stress and anxiety. And also, we're very toxic and we're too acidic. When you're too acidic, that is when disease begins. And you've heard me talk about this. Our disease today is coming from standard American diet and toxins. We're exposed to toxins like you wouldn't believe, and you've got to be the CEO. And so hopefully, you're taking notes, and we will be talking about the Dirty Dozen list later on if we have time, because we have a lot of information to cover as well. So, and then we also do the foot detox as well, and that's where we go in, and that was introduced to me back in like 2005 or 6, and I kind of like it. It helps balance your pH as well, and it also helps you start on a detox program if you want to move forward with that as well. And then also I have the Kangen water, which I serve everyone with the chlorophyll as well. The chlorophyll goes in, is amazing. I've had clients that it's helped them so much. What you do is you take the chlorophyll and you add it to your water. So we'll do that right now, and you can see how green it is. And usually we'll just add a little bit here because we have a little glass. But usually you add a tablespoon. This is the extra strength, which is the one that I prefer as well. And so you just add that to your water, and if you really question how well it does, it's like my daughter-in-law had some, and she said, "What's the expiration date on this?" I said, "It's good for 2 years." So even if yours is a little over 2 years old and you haven't been on track, you can still use it. But what you can do too is you can put it on your plants. Like I have a hibiscus, which I put outside in the summertime. Springtime, it's not warm enough yet, but I'll take it out. And so whenever I do a show, or if I'm like serving clients at home and I make a big picture of it and I have some left over for the day, I will pour some on my hibiscus, and you know what? It blooms in 2 days. So you can imagine what it's doing for you internally. It's going to go in and balance your pH again, because we're too acidic from the coffee, the soda pop, and the stress. It's just a combination of many different things. So this is going to help balance your pH. It's going to help detox and clean you. It's going to help improve your red blood cells, the hemoglobin. It's going to get more oxygen into that system as well. So you can't go wrong with this, because it's such a good, healthy drink to be drinking every day. People say, well, how much should I drink? Well, I would just add a tablespoon to your good quality water. I don't want the chemical cocktail coming out of the faucet. There's so many toxins and chemicals in that, we don't need that. So, and you've heard me talk before, make sure you get a filter on your shower. If you have city water, we have well water. I don't trust it. I have so much industry around us today. We used to live on 2 acres, which we still have, but there's so much, corporations are just moving around us, but it is what it is. And we still have our space for our garden and things of that sort. So what I'm saying is we need to keep your body on track and you be in charge of your body. So I like the fact that you can get a filter on your shower, and that is going to help so the chemicals are not absorbed into your system. A lot of the, like say makeup, different lotions that you apply to your skin, if they have toxins in it, it can be absorbed into your skin. It's the same with the water. So you have to be proactive and be ahead of the game. Now, I like to get mine over at Hartfield Hardware in Hartfield, and it's under $100. I think it's like $70-some, and you change the filter probably about every 6 months. If you have city water, you can smell the chlorine. You know that's the time to make a change of the filter. Comes in a little round, little like a little button, and then you just change it. And it's very easy. My husband just unscrewed it and put the new filter in. We've had ours for probably 15 years at least. So I'm just giving you some tidbits on what you need to do. Okay, so that goes, I just thought I would review some of the things that we do, and I also do available to do speaking at many organizations as well. So I know when I do the holistic psychic shows, which I'm doing one on April 30th, but then this is a recording for May, and I did not check my schedule to see where I'm at in May, but I know I will be at the Hartville Flea Market the Saturday before Memorial Day for sure. So I usually go there for marketing purposes, as I do not have an office out of my home. I have office in home, and it's by appointment as well. Okay, so what I wanted to tell you too is we do a newsletter every month, and this one is on solving the urinary health problems in today's world. And so it goes in and talks about maybe if you have some kidney stones, of course, you need to balance your pH. You can use some lemon water, organic lemons, of course, and then add some chlorophyll to it as well. Okay? And then also, if you do have kidney stones, I like hydrangea as a herbal supplement to go in and break that down as well. But we're trying to get to the root cause and changing your pH as well. Okay? And then say maybe you have some UTIs, urinary tract infections. There's cranberry and buchu, a combination which you can take to help prevent that from occurring as well. So it goes in. This is written by Stephen Horn, and I also add tidbits as well. And so this is something that I put out every month as well. So that's what it is for this month. And then, okay, now still going into spring, we have our allergies now. I know sometimes when I go walking, I'll get a little congested, things of that sort. So what do? What I do is I use, it's LASJP, and this stands for lungs allergies. And what this does is has fenugreek and thyme in it. And the seasonal allergies from Nature's Sunshine, which is the one I usually carry, is on back order until May. So that isn't helping us right now, but this is my alternative. It's the same combination, and it works very well. And the nice thing about this for allergies, you're not going to have any side effects, no drowsiness like over-the-counter things you may take, Claritin, I believe it is. You're going to be fine. You only take 4 of these every 2 to 3 hours when you need it. That is what is so cool about it. You don't have to take it every day, because sometimes I get so tired of taking supplements, actually I take a little break and kind of back off. And usually I try to take 1 day off every week for my supplements. So this is the one I like, and then what I like to add to it too is Histoblock. And Histoblock, especially when it's really, really bad, I'll add the Histoblock. So what is in the Histoblock is it has stinging nettles in it. It has quercetin, and that is you'll find that in apples and black tea, and it's very good for an anti-inflammatory. And it has bromelain in it as well, and so it's going to help with you coughing up a lot of the mucus and things as well. So you take 2 of these when you need it as well, and I would take 2 twice a day if you're really very congested. And then I know for myself, like I haven't had to take any for probably the last 10 days. Things have been pretty good. So hopefully the air has kind of cleared, but I think it's going to get worse now because everything's in bud. Like I go on my walk with little Minnie, and I sing my lilacs are in bud, the tulip trees in bud, so everything is coming to life. This is new beginnings in the springtime. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some tips for the healthy spring before we get to our subject, okay? So we know now spring is in the air. This is nature's birthing season, the time of creation and development. So the next 6 months, we're going to have daylight, the sun and the yang principles are here. And you may feel a new spark, you may feel new energy and new inspiration. Because whenever, we have light longer, we feel better, we have more active things that we can do as well too. So now is a good time to take a look at your life and make a new plan. New season, new beginnings. So what do you want to clear out in your environment and within yourself? What do you want to see happen? I know we had a new year, but now this is kind of like a reminder. New beginnings, new season, what do we want to do? It's a new start. So take a little time to write down a new health life plan, including goals on how you want to feel and what you would like to see happen. And let those dreams bloom with the new beginnings, the new season. One of the key words for spring is cleanse. It is a time to welcome the new seasonal energy and stay in line with it. So here are some tips for a healthy spring season. In this season, embrace yourself as you look at all your habits and areas of your life. Even with all the world concerns, care for yourself and your loved ones. So what we have to do is we have to go in and look at your lifestyle. See where your stressors are and your weaknesses. And with special attention to 5 steps in keeping your body in balance and in healthy. And you know, as I've said, it's diet and nutrition. This is the time we've got everything, our seeds to plant. I planted my lettuce March 16th. It's up like this, about maybe ½ an inch. Due to the rain and the sun, it's really blooming. I was going to take a picture, and I did, but I forgot to give it to Joanna to show it to you. So I will bring a picture next month, okay? Because by then we should hopefully be eating it as well as the ones that I've gotten at Petiti's. So remember, it doesn't matter if you are living in an apartment, a condo, whatever. You can get a pot, and you can get some organic dirt from Petiti's, which Cindy was here last month, and you can plant your seeds in good dirt. And then you just go out, and it's not that cold now that you can go out and plant this. Like I said, I planted mine in March. So you can go out and plant your seeds now for lettuce, okay? So now what you want to do is you want to start planning ahead for your garden as well. So, I personally don't start my seeds from my plants from seeds. I usually kind of cheat, and I go to the greenhouse, and Mum's the Word is where I go. It's over by Quail Hollow, and they have the best plants. And I get my tomatoes, of course. I get my peppers. And then, of course, we get our green beans and seeds, all of those as well. So I'm just saying now is the time to start planting. So this can help your nutrition. You know where your food is coming from. And you have worked in the soil, and you have prepared this food yourself. So that is so important. So that's the number one in keeping the body in balance is nutrition, live foods. Try to stay away from the junk foods, okay? If you want to be bad, I know it's Easter, and I will probably have some Easter cake or a cupcake as well. We can always be bad one day a week, but we got to get back on track the next day. We're all human, okay? All right, so anyway, nutrition is so important. So get that pot out, or if you want to dig up a little spot around your yard and plant a few tomato plants, whatever you would like to do. Some cucumbers, of course. I get the plants, and I like my burpless cucumbers. So there's nothing nicer than going out in like June or July, especially July. I mean, I will get my tomato plant probably within the next month, and I will plant it out in the pot. It'll be small, and I'll nurse that as well, so I can have some tomatoes probably by July. But I like the little cherry tomatoes that I put on my deck, so when I take my dog out, I can pick and have a little snack of a tomato. So I'm just giving you ideas as well. And I like to put parsley around the tomato plant as well, and that way I usually have parsley through November. So it's really nice for the holidays to have fresh parsley and go out and pick it. And what you have to understand, when you plant the parsley, it'll come up the next year as well, automatically. So it's good for you to know that as well. So we've got our nutrition, we know how to do that, and then we have E for exercise. You've got to move or you're going to lose. Move, move, move. I don't care how old you are. I know, it's very hard, especially when I was working a day job 5 days a week. So, even now with the light change, with the time change, it's lighter longer, so maybe you can get your grandkids or your children and go for a walk to the park, do whatever. Get moving. We have to move. And maybe if you have some arthritic conditions, you can go to the pool and you can swim, because the movement would be much better for you in that way. So I'm just giving you ideas. You have to move. And then we have to control our stress. We have many nervines. We have something from Stress J, which has passion flower, chamomile in it, which are both nervines. And that's going to help calm your body down. Do you know how many people are on antidepressants today? It's unbelievable, the people that I see that are on antidepressants, where exercise is going to help that as well. And there are other things you can do. Especially the first question I always ask, are you on D3? Because a lot of times, if you're not on D3, that can make a big difference in your depression as well. So I'm not saying it's a total answer, but it can help you with that as well. And then we also have some skullcap, maybe some valerian root. I like to check the different nervines. I had a lady call me this week. She needed her NutriCalm, which has a lot of vitamin B's in it, and then it has a little bit of valerian root in it as well. So, you know, each one is different, and that's why I muscle test you. The NutriCalm, I muscle tested her on the Stress J. She didn't need that one. The NutriCalm was the one for her. She listened to her body, and she was absolutely right. She's been taking it for several years. But she was running low, and her order wasn't coming in. And so, you know, I had the backup. So there we go. So, you know, we have to listen to our body. And, you know, stress is really high right now with the unknown and what's going on in our world today. And since COVID, things just haven't been back to normal. So hopefully with time, that will change as well. So you've got to adjust your body and try to cope with the changes, like exercise and then getting the stress under control as well. And then we also have sleep. Many people are having difficulty sleeping as well. And I personally am not, well, let's put it this way. I've always been a light sleeper. And so what I do is I take my magnesium before I go to bed, and of course I suggest that for a lot of clients. I use magnesium complex, which is magnesium citrate, and it works very well for myself. Always remember, if you take too much, you will get diarrhea. So I usually start clients out or 2 to 3, and that is 100 milligrams in each capsule. There are many different types of magnesium, but I like the magnesium citrate because it works very well with helping you sleep. So everybody's different. We usually start out like maybe on 2, depending upon how much you weigh. Say if you weigh 130, I would say maybe 2. I personally take 4, sometimes 5. Depends on how I'm feeling that night, you know. But usually 4 works very well for me. And then what you can do is you can add the 5-HP power with that. Because I had a client call me, and she said, I'm using the magnesium, but I'm not still sleeping like I would like to. And so what we did is I sent her a printout on the 5-HP, and that's what she's using as well. So that's working for here. Let's go in and see what we can say about that one. I know we had a printout on that. So the 5-HTP is, I don't see it right here. Well, we'll get to it. Okay. All right, so we'll talk about that later. Let's go in and see. But usually what you can do, it helps with weight loss as well. You take 1 capsule with a meal like twice a day. And of course it has a little bit of B6 in it, and it has some zinc as well. And then has also some ginseng, ashwagandha, and some suma bark. Suma bark is an adaptogen herb which is going to go in and help with stress as well. So that's a blend as well. And then it has the 5-HTP as a combination as well. So that is the one that I like to use. It's going to go in and help you relax, and it's going to go also and help your weight loss if you're working on that as well. So anyway, and then attitude is so important. So you've got to be positive, wake up in the morning, be positive, and enjoy the day. Make the best of it and have goals. And you may want to start a journal to keep your thoughts straight for the day. So let's first of all, let's choose 3 habits that you feel as though are hurting you and you would like to change those and let go of them. So which ones are most important for you to change, a healthier you? If you need help, or can you do this on your own? If you're not, feel free to call me and I'll reach out and we will chat, or you can set up an appointment and we can go through what we can do to help you. So I have a lady coming in from Youngstown next week. She had met me a couple years ago and she said, I need to get back on track. So what we're going to do, we're going to sit down, do the iridology, and set out a plan for her. And we try to keep it simple. I don't like to make it complicated. Personally, when I see a client, I do not like to start you on more than 5 supplements. We all need our D3. She may need some enzymes. I have to look at the eye, muscle test her, and evaluate the whole thing. See how much she's exercising, check on diet, things of that sort, so you understand. So we always need to look at our dietary choices. So what do you choose to put in the mouth of yours? Are you eating to live, or are you eating just to eat? So you have to write down your typical diet and then make a plan on the knowledge that we've talked about today. So what we need to do is try to eliminate maybe the sugar and the flour and things of that sort. Remember, better choices create a better health. So whenever we need to detox, you need to write out a plan and make a list of good foods, shop for them, and make them available when you are hungry. Lots of good water, which we talked about that, and take a big break from the 5. Sugar, caffeine, alcohol, wheat, and dairy. And I know that's really hard, but you've got to pick up the good foods. Like I was at Raisin Rack, I picked up some white grapes. They were beautiful. I kept them in the refrigerator. I'm hungry. I'll go pop one of those. And that's going to help you look at things a little bit differently as well. So just remember, we've talked about adding some good supplements to take whenever you're detoxing, like your D3, maybe your vitamin C, your vitamin E. That's personally what I take. And then we had our chlorophyll to go in and help as well. So spring is a season for clearing out the old and bringing in the new. I love this feeling of looking at my desk, which I need to do that again today, and my closet, I need to look at that, and around the house, wanting to freshen and clean them all up. Of course, after many years of accumulating all the communication and health journals I receive, it's harder to handle everything in my life than it was when I was just starting out. So, I tend to have things accumulate on my desk, but when I clear it out, I feel so much better and more space. So, the last tip for spring is move your body, stay fit, and stay healthy. And we need to exercise and plant your food so we have a good program. So, there we go. Just so we mentioned, we have the Tahi cleanse. We've talked about that before. The Tahi cleanse is my favorite. It's the one that goes in is more systemic, and there are 30 packets. You only take 1 packet, and you get you'll get results in 10 to 12 hours. That means you will poop in 10 to 12 hours. I like the combination because it's cleaning your liver. And we're going to talk about the liver. The liver is under the rib cage on your right side. So we're going to talk about the remarkable liver tonight in a few minutes. But before, we're going to talk about options for cleaning. So this has got a liver combination to clean your liver. It also has burdock to clean your blood. It also has an all-cell detox to clean at the cellular level. Follow me? And it also has fiber. And also a little bit of LBS2, long, brown, and smooth, which is going to open up the colon. Just remember, we have different elimination systems, and colon, sometimes I could write a book. There's sometimes some of these people do not have a bowel movement except for 3 to 4 days. You got to poop at least 2 times a day. So we've got to get that colon moving and drink more water. That's the first question I always ask. Remember, take your weight. Say if you weigh 200 pounds, you take half of that. That's how many ounces of water you're to drink, 100 ounces of water a day. Remember, good quality water. And if you buy the water in a container, don't let it sit in the sun because it can give off toxins from that plastic. So I'm just giving you some tidbits. So keep it in the closet, things of that sort. And then we have our clean start here. This is a whole different ball game. This one has some bentonite in it, it has some chlorophyll in it, and there's a little packet, and you pour it in water and drink it, and then you follow it with some environmental detox, things of that sort, and that's going to go in and clean the body as well. It's more an intestinal cleanse, so I have a client coming again this afternoon, and she would like to do a cleanse, and we will muscle test her to see which one is best for her as well. And then we also have another one here too, is the environmental detox. And the environmental detox is a little different game. And this one has burdock in it as well. And it has dandelion, which is cleaning the liver as well. Burdock's cleaning your blood. It has ginger, which is going to help digestion. It has pepsin for digestion. It has red clover to clean your blood as well. Yellow dock clean the blood as well. Marshmallow to go in and help any internal inflammation. And a little bit of milk thistle, which is going to go in and also support that liver. So what we'll do, and what you do is you take 2 of these in a capsule form twice a day. So as you can see, there's many choices on what cleanse we need to do. And of course, there's juicing cleanses as well. And that's a whole different ball game. Maybe you can do some apples, some celery, things of that. And maybe some wheatgrass. Remember, if you do the wheatgrass, if you're out buying a shot of it at the juice bar, make sure you take it on an empty stomach and you don't, eat for like a half an hour, an hour. And so those are just some suggestions as well. So let's go in and talk about this remarkable liver. I thought it would be time to talk, this would be the perfect time to talk about the liver. The liver is unbelievable. It's a remarkable organ that plays a huge number of roles in your body. It performs over 500 important functions, including help to regulate hormones, your blood sugar levels, and processing nutrients and storing nutrients to be released into the blood as they are needed, and producing bile to digest the fat. So the reason I chose to discuss the liver, I want to share with you how you can keep this liver healthy. There are many threats your liver faces, and these range from external environments to things you know or unknowingly ingest, as well as viruses or other conditions which you have no control. So let's take a quick look at the liver. The liver is the largest organ of the body. It weighs about 3 pounds, like this, and it has a reddish brown color, and it's tucked under the ribs on the right side of your body. So if it gets tender right under here, feel the rib cage go under there, and you can kind of feel it. Sometimes they'll do that when they do a physical to make sure it's not enlarged and things of that sort. The thing that is amazing, the liver has one of the highest regeneration abilities of any organ. It can be regenerated, and one leaves just 1/3 of the undamaged intact, and it can help rebuild itself. Your liver never rests. Your liver resembles a massive factory that is constantly working to manufacture or store all the proteins, carbohydrates, your fats, your hormones, several vitamins, iron, and other supplements you need for good health, and especially to protect you from the toxic environment that's inside or outside that we're exposed to all the time. So we have to keep our eye on this. The major roles the liver plays is following is a list of the major functions of the liver. So here's the number 1, nutrient metabolism. It includes your protein, your carbohydrates, your lipids, which are your fats, and your vitamins and your minerals. So the liver plays a major role in the metabolism of the food you eat, transferring the carbohydrates, the fats, and proteins you consume in your diet into the energy your body needs to function. This is why it's so important that we eat quality foods rather than the dead chemical foods that can be out there today. The liver plays an important role in fat digestion and absorption, as well as the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. I found this very interesting too while I was doing my research on the liver. People with gallbladder disease or liver disease will have stool, a bowel movement that is white in color, and it floats in the toilet bowl. This is because of the high levels of undigested fat in the colon, in the stool. So also you have to remember the liver also manufactures cholesterol. Your body needs cholesterol for a number of functions, including the production of hormones. In addition, all cell membranes require cholesterol for proper functioning. So back to the gallbladder, there is a formula called the gallbladder formula to go in and help clean that up also if you're having some issues with that. And just try to, watch your fat intake. And that's why, if I am going to have meat or chicken, I normally take a digestive enzyme to help break that down as well, because in the chicken, in the meat, of course, you have no enzyme. So that's going to go in and help you break that down as well, and you'll get more nutrients out of that. Okay? So several vitamins are stored in the liver, including vitamin A, D, E, and K. And those are all your fat-soluble vitamins. So, personally, that's why we have to be very careful with our vitamin A, our vitamin D, and, of course, our vitamin E. I personally feel as though just one vitamin E is sufficient as long as it's 400 is the count of the milligrams of it, and you're fine with that, but no higher than that as well. So let's talk about the main process, or the biggest process that the liver is facing every day, and that's detoxification. And where do these toxins come from? We have pharmaceutical drugs. We also have the street drugs. We also have food toxins. And toxins sometimes can be produced by metabolism or by our illness today. And so also we detoxify. The detox is the biggest major thing that we're going to concentrate on here. Also, the liver does storage. It helps with your immune system, and the cholesterol, which we talked about that as well, and also helps with bioproduction. So we have to remember that whenever we detox, it takes place in all cells in the body. The three major sites are in the kidneys. That's why we drink a lot of water to flush a lot of the toxins out. And then the gastrointestinal tract, and that's why we keep the gastrointestinal flowing very well, and the liver. Most of the time, we think of our liver detoxification as dealing with pharmaceutical drugs or poisons from the environment. So in today's world, detoxification of environmental chemicals is more important than ever. I found this very interesting as well. In 1989 alone, there were 1,000 new chemicals that were introduced. That is 3 new chemicals a day. In this same year, over 5 million pounds of chemical pollutants were introduced into the environment. Not surprisingly, 3 million several pesticide poisonings and 220,000 deaths have been reported worldwide each year. Wow, this really surprised me. Things have really gotten worse. It is estimated that in 2020, some 385 million causes of poisonings by pesticides occur among farmers alone, with 11,000 farmers dying due to this exposure. And when you hear this, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. This is 44% of all farmers dying due to this exposure. And in the world, this is a great deal of this toxic exposure comes from Roundup, the weed killer, which I believe Cindy and I talked about that last month. You need to use organic weed killer, not that Roundup that you put in a thing and you can spray it. The main ingredient in Roundup is glyphosate, which is now being detected in most foods, in your water supply today, with soft drinks, and even vaccines. It's amazing. Roundup itself is considered to be 125 times more toxic than glyphosate, and is the most toxic agriculture used as a chemical agent today. So what we have to remember, do not use the Roundup. It is very, very toxic. So you need to do an organic spray, or you can go to Cindy Petitti's over in Louisville, and you can get the organic. That's the only place I know that really I suggest that you go there, and that's where I go because she's very educated, and it's a whole new subject for most of us. So we want what is best, and we want good products. So in regards to the pharmaceutical drugs, nearly half of all Americans have taken at least one prescription drug over the past 30 days. And that doesn't take into consideration the vast amounts of over-the-counter drugs that people are using as well. The fact that these drugs work in our bodies at all can be attributed to the action of your liver. There we go. It is your liver that processes these drugs, and although it is processed by your liver that makes these drugs work, these altered chemicals can also have toxic chemical effects, which is a very balancing act. Most of the drugs, whether prescription or over-the-counter, must be broken down in order to work. Some drugs are made much more toxic by the liver's detoxification system itself. In other words, the liver makes the drug much more toxic than it would have been otherwise. A good example of this is Tylenol. It is a leading cause of calls to the Poison Control Center with over 100,000 calls a year and responsible for 56,000 emergency room visits per year. Even low doses of this drug can result in liver failure in certain individuals. So try not to do the over-counter Tylenol, in my opinion. So if we're having some pain, maybe add some peppermint oil if you're having pain in the knee or in the neck. That'll go in there and get more, a little more oxygen into the body. Then we add herbal adjustment, which has lobelia. And that's going to go in and help relax. It has some calcium, increase the blood flow. So that is what I would use for headache. If I would get a headache and I try to go to the root cause again, it could be from stress. That's where I use the peppermint oil. People will come in, they'll have a headache, we'll put some peppermint oil, maybe it's on their forehead, put the herbal adjustment over it. It'll be gone like in 15 minutes, or they'll see a big improvement as far as the relief goes as well. So there's alternative things you can use. White willow bark is a natural form of aspirin as well, but I always go to the external, applying the peppermint oil, because I know it works, and that's what we use at our house, because I always have that open on my desk. So those are some choices that you can use for if you're having some menstrual cramps as well. Use some magnesium oil, apply it over the abdomen, and take the magnesium externally. It'll go in and help relax the cramping as well. So I'm just giving you ideas on alternative things that you can use. The liver is an important part of the immune system. The highest concentration of immune system is in the walls of the GI tract and in the respiratory system as well. So, like I said, new research is also linking the immune system with longevity. We want to have good health with the aging process, and remember, you're the CEO, and this is like many times people come in, they're taking better care of their car than they are of their body. We've got to be going in and keeping it clean, putting in good products to keep the fuel working well. We don't want to be puttering down the road like we need a tune-up and the car is 50 years old. And usually most of the people are over 50 years old to come to see me, But I love it whenever moms or a relative will bring in their young child or their daughter to get them back on track. Get started young is the answer. We've got to take care of this body and feed it properly. So good nutrition is important to all immune functions. This includes not only adequate protein, carbohydrates, and fat intake, but all the vitamins and minerals. And we've talked about, especially your vitamin C, which is water soluble. So, and if you take too much, you can get diarrhea on that again. And your natural vitamin E, of course, and which is fat soluble, so you don't do a lot of that. And your B complex, which is water soluble again. That means if you take too much, it'll be excreted through the urine. And I usually take a B complex, a couple of them a day, and that will make your urine a little more yellow. So I'm just telling you, I'm excreting it through the urine as well. And of course your magnesium to help you rest and sleep at night. Always take your magnesium at night before you go to bed, in my opinion. Basically what this means is that nutritional supplementation can make a difference between a healthy life or poor health. I know there's a place for medication, but you've got to be the CEO and decide what is best for you. Just remember, the liver remains the main detoxification center for the body. It cleans the circulation of toxic substances that only enter the body from the GI tract but are inhaled through the lungs or absorbed through the skin. So we talked about the toxin compounds from the skin as a major way that a lot of these are getting into the body. And this can occur from skin creams, from pesticides, herbal sprays, the mosquito sprays, things of that sort, and a medication applied to the skin. So you've got to be careful on what you put into that skin because it's going to be absorbed. You've got to become a label reader. So our traditional all-American diet, known as the Western diet, which foods includes a lot of excess red meat, a lot of processed and prepackaged foods, your margarine, no, and then the sweets, both high and low dairy products, the refined sugar, and worst of all, fructose, especially the highly fructose corn syrup like the GMOs. Remember, you've heard me say this over and over, anything you're doing with soy has to be non-GMO, and the same way with corn. Like I'm making the corn pudding for Easter, and I am using organic frozen corn from the raisin rack. And of course my organic milk and my open rain eggs as well. And that's what I will use. I try to be as particular as I can. I'm not perfect, but I try to read the labels and do what is best. So here is a lot of the traditional American diet that is contributing to the liver damage, and that's a lot of high fatty foods. The artificial sweeteners, you don't want those. You don't want aspartame, that Splenda. When I see that yellow pack when we go out to a restaurant, I just cringe. We don't want that. No. And sugars, especially fructose and sucrose. The food additives, you've got to become a label reader for the dyes. When we were in Europe in the 90s, it was like a whole different world over there, the digestive system, because they're more in tune. There's no dyes, and MSGs, and we've got to watch out for the gluten and, of course, our heavy metals as well. So, and as far as using a better choice for oils, I prefer to use, in our house, we use organic coconut oil, organic olive oil, and the organic avocado oil as well. And they are certainly much better choices than corn oil. So go look in your cupboards and see what you're using. They're better than corn oil, peanut, soybean, sassaflower, sunflower, and canola oil. Because the corn oil is coming from the GMOs. When I see that store, I cringe again. But people don't know, and that's what I'm trying to do, is share with you on what I am learning on my path to helping us all have a better body and better health during our life. There are some 50 names that sugar can hide under. Here are some of the most common. So you've got to become a label reader. So you watch for these, okay? It's brown rice syrup, molasses, cane sugar, corn sweeteners, fructose, glucose, rice syrup, evaporated cane sugar, and many others. And just remember, don't buy any food that contains high fructose corn syrup. This common sweetener is in soda, fruit-flavored drinks, is manufactured into a way that turns its glucose into fructose. And it's a type of sugar that is actually sweeter. And also make sure you are actually hungry, not thirsty. Sugar cravings can be a sign you are dehydrated. So measure out how much water you need to drink, good quality water, put it in the fridge if you want, set it out on the counter, so that is your reminder to drink more water. Especially with the aging process and getting busy in life, we don't drink enough water. So just remember, often called the silent liver disease, this condition is on the rise and it has replaced excessive alcohol consumption as the most common of the liver disease. It is becoming and it's becoming a leading cause of our liver transplants in the world today. The main dangers of liver disease is that it is at earlier stage. It really don't have many symptoms. So there's two different categories for the fatty liver disease, and that's one with the non-alcoholic fatty disease, and it's the buildup of extra fat cells in the liver, and that's where the fat accumulates in the liver, but the alcohol is not a contributing factor, okay? So, and then the other one is called the non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, and this is fat in the liver which is caused by inflammation, which damages the liver. So there are no pharmaceutical medications that can correct or reverse any type of fatty liver disease. And I just thought I would mention that because there are more and more people that are being diagnosed with fatty liver disease. So basically, because we're running out of time, What we need to do is try to exercise, lose some weight. Losing 10% of your weight can reduce your risk of fatty liver disease. Exercise again. Eliminate all sugar-containing foods. Eat your whole foods. Avoid your artificial sweeteners like your aspartame and Splenda. Eliminate fried foods and cut out all corn syrups. And also, there are some supplements, and I want to share that before we close up. We have milk thistle that you can take for the liver as well. And also turmeric is very good, and that goes in and it reduces the liver inflammation, and it helps cut down on the fat accumulation as well. And also magnesium citrate increases the liver cell glutathione, and also reduces the inflammation and improves the blood flow as well. So hopefully this has given you some insight to maintaining a healthy liver, is helping keep your body in balance, and enjoy springtime. Get out there and walk. Take the time for you. You can do it. Believe in yourself and be grateful for your many blessings. Be well and enjoy. Thank you.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.